Dean, as always, it's great to have you here at the studio.
Yeah, nice to meet you again.
Now, of course, Dean, you'll probably know him from Marvellous Murals, his murals, and he's coming to talk all about Chalk It Up. So before you start that, I was hoping you could give ourselves a little bit of an introduction about yourself.
I'm a mural artist. I've been painting murals for over 20 years now. I'm kind of fairly established and get regular work, and it keeps me going.
So what exactly is Chalk It Up for our listeners who are not aware of it?
Well, a lot of what I do in my art is I like to do a lot of street art, and the street art that I do normally involves chalk, and it's just chalk drawings on the floor or on walls and things like that, because it's kind of a lot easier to get permission rather than anything permanent like paint, and you can do some amazing stuff in chalk on the floor, and it draws attention and things like that. And a few friends have said to me, like, "Oh, I'd like to have a go at that," and so I said, "Well, come on in, let's all get together." And last year we ran a little festival. Well, it was supposed to be a little festival with about 10-15 of my friends, just doing chalk art on the floor, but word got around and it turned into quite an event last year. So we ended up with nearly 50 artists, all in Sittingbourne High Street, all creating wonderful works in the alleyways and on the pavements, all in their own different styles, and people were walking past and commenting and having their photos taken with them and things like that. And it was a really, really good weekend. So I thought we'd do it again this year, but try and organise it a bit more this year. So
I was hoping you could next tell us when it is and exactly where in Sittingbourne it takes place.
Okay, yeah, it's over the entire weekend of the 12th and 13th of September. So that's the Saturday and Sunday. It runs from from 10 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening, on both days, and it will go from for the entire length of Sittingbourne High Street, basically from where it's gated off at the top all the way down to where the council offices are at the bottom.
So have you sort of learnt anything, or are you doing anything different from last year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year was a first for a lot of people. It was the first time a lot of the people had even sort of done chalk art on the floor and things like that, or drawn on a pavement, or even worked in a public arena sort of thing. So it was an experience for a lot of people. I mean, I myself learnt a lot about it, because it's the first kind of festival I'd ever organised. So hopefully I can put a few new things into practice this year, and we've got a few new ideas as well. We're going to be doing like a big chalk game board on the floor, big giant snakes and ladders and things like that. So the children and the public can kind of interact with things a bit more.
Well, no, last year the 3D one was certainly amazing.
Oh yeah, last year we did a big 3D one, which was like a big canyon with a waterfall going into it, running into a stream, and I think it was a leopard or standing beside it and things like that, and people were standing and posing with that and things like that, and that was a big success. That's what we did on the Sunday last year, because Saturday was taken up with kind of me organising other people a lot, so I didn't get much chance to do my own thing. But this year I'm going to be doing a 3D one, but I'm going to be doing it on the Saturday and the Sunday, so it's going to be take the 2 days to create, so hopefully it'll give me a bit more time to work on it.
It was quite amazing how many of them lasted and how long they lasted as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the thing with chalk, it does last if you don't touch it. The ones on the pavements, they do get washed away sort of as soon as it rains, it disappears. But in the alleyways where it's all dry and undercover, a lot of the ones there have lasted really well. Some of them are hardly even smudged.
I was hoping you could go into a little bit more detail of what's happening on each day next.
Well, it's kind of each artist is doing their own thing. They've all been allocated, or they will be allocated, a space. Some are working on the floor, on the pavements. Some have got areas on walls and in alleyways and things like that. And yeah, they'll all be doing their own designs that they've come up with. We thought about having a theme, but that kind of limits it a bit. I like people to sort of do what they do best, really, and it's nice for everyone to show off just how different everyone is, sort of thing. So
how do you find the right space? Do you sort of discuss what people are going to roughly draw and say, well, that'd be a good space for you?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, most of the younger ones work on the floor because they're more able to. A lot of the older artists have trouble sort of crawling around on their hands and knees and things like that. So I tend to allocate them wall space, which is a bit easier to work on. But yeah, no, it does depend on how ambitious they are. And what sort of space they need.
So who's supporting you this year?
Well, it's a bit difficult at the moment. I've applied for different funding through different arts organisations and things like that. But the problem is they're all being sort of severely cut back in what they're handing out. And even though this is a fantastic event, they've kind of said they're looking at other projects, which is a bit sad. So I am actually looking for funding at the moment. If not, I will fund it myself. So, but if anyone wants to sponsor it, or even sponsor an individual artist, they can perhaps come up with a design for a business or something like that, and we can promote sort of. This is the thing, we can promote local businesses. It's a local event, so any business that wants to get involved will get extraordinary exposure, because it all goes all over Twitter and Facebook and all of those sort of social platforms. And Instagram was a big hit for us last year. We had loads of hits on Instagram and things like that, so that would be really good.
And we're talking to Dean at the moment. We're talking to him all about Chalk It Up Sittingbourne, the Chalk Art Festival. We're talking all about this year's one. And I was wondering how people can get involved and help, and what people are involved.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. We're looking for more people to get involved, because I want to make it a real community event. To get involved, all you have to do is just register. You can go to the Facebook page and say that you're interested there, and you can find that on Facebook. Just search for Chalk It Up on Facebook, or you can go to my website, which is Marvellous Murals, and you can register on there. There's a whole page on there, and you can all it is just filling out your name and your contact details and what you want to do, and we'll try and do our best to get you involved.
So I was wondering if you could just refresh our listeners on where and when it is.
Well, it's the 12th and 13th of September, and we've got a whole wealth of artists that are coming down from all over the place. We've got a lot of artists out on the island. Actually, Julie Bradshaw is coming out, and Joe Eden. They're going to come out and do some more chalk art for us. We've got lots of other fantastic artists from Faversham. And a lot of artists are coming from further afield this year as well. We've got a company called Dino Slaps, which come from all the way over to the other side of London, and we've also got a man who's he's over here from France at the moment, and he's looking to get involved. He's a chalk artist in France, and he's come over here especially for the Chalk Festival. So I'm quite excited to see what he comes up with as well.
Well, Dean, if you're happy we've covered everything, I'd like to thank you very much for coming along and telling us all about this year's Chalk Festival.
No, it's lovely. Thank you very much.
That is Dean this evening telling us all about Chalk It Up Sittingbourne, the Chalk Art Festival.